Now we will talk specifically about how to develop research question in medical education. As we see in the statement, to get a useful answer, you have to clearly understood and precisely expressed a question. This is the research process. As you see, firstly, I select a problem, then search in the review of literature about this problem, search and search and search to get the gap in knowledge. Getting the gap in knowledge, it's after getting the gap in knowledge or know the gap in knowledge, I will develop and define my research question. So the research question is a cornerstone in the research process to determine the appropriate research design, to know what data will be collected, to know the data collection methods and the data analysis method. Simply, research question, it's a question that a research project sets out to answer. This is an example of a research question. Does hands-on education with simulation for fourth-year medical students at Ain Shams University improve their performance in clinical approach? As you see, in this question, I ask about what, how, when, who, and where. And I will ask this 5 question will ask the 6th one, which is the product. What's the products that I'll get? This is increase the performance in clinical approach. What is the characteristic of good research question? Good research question must be visible. I mean by visible, it is within the ability of the investigator to carry out according to the time, money, and space. It's interesting to the researcher and also to their colleagues, to the students, to the patient, all the stakeholders that is connected with your research. It's novel. Novel, that means that does the question add the current body of knowledge? Ethical. Ethicals mean no physical or psychological harm to the participant. And relevant. How might answer improve educational practice? So when we go to our example of research question, when I criticize it, is this feasible? I think yes. I can train the 4th-year medical students at Ain Shams University by simulation clinical scenario, how to do a hand-off. I'll train them to how to perform hand-off. Interesting, yes, it is interesting to the researcher, to the students. A novel, yes, it is novel because I have a problem in my hospital. There is no perfect communication between the residents. Ethical, yes, it's ethical because I train the student on by simulation process, by case scenario, and it is relevant to the field. This is an activity, group task activity. I'll give you some a research question for each group. You will criticize this research question and write the good one. The first one is drawing skills in anatomy education essential for the millennial learner. As you see, this question is vague. It's not visible. It is. It's not specific. Yes. I think the good one is what is the effect of anatomy drawing workshop as a model for teaching anatomy on the cognitive perception of medical students. Second one is what are the effects of simulation-based education on graduate competency. Also, this one is vague question. It is not specific at all. I don't know what is the graduate competency. Okay. The right one or the good one, does simulation training significantly improve resident competency in the management of shoulder dystocia? What are the difference in medical student learning output between lecture-based and problem-based learning method? The problem in this question, it's not novel at all. When I talk about the lecture-based education, it's not novel at all. The right one, what are the difference in clinical reasoning skills between digital case scenario and paper case scenario in case-based learning session for first-year medical student? The fourth one, how can clinical reasoning be assessed in undergraduate medical students? It's a vague, non-specific question. The right one is what are the difference in validity among different clinical reasoning assessment tests of undergraduate medical students? So we'll go to how to develop a research question. As you see, it is a circular process, not linear, circular process. As you see, I will do a mind map, a white paper, and I will write on the paper the main problem, then I will relate it to the subtopic, the related fact. At the end, I have a mind map or concept map, including all the related issue to my problem. So this is the steps of how to develop a research question. First of all, identify a broader subject of interest. For example, the challenges facing implementation of competency-based education program. Then I'll do a mind map and search in the review of literature to get the gap in knowledge. I'll get that the simulation-based education to ensure medical student competency. Okay, starting with this idea, do a preliminary research question. Does simulation improve central line insertion? And with this broad research question, I start to narrow it as I can. Does simulation improve central line insertion? Better to write. Does simulation training of central venous catheter improve clinical skills? Then, how I'll train the student? Partial task simulation training improves central line insertion. Then, does simulation training of central venous catheter insertion skill and partial task training improve success rate in clinical practice? Then, does simulation training of ultrasound guided central venous catheter insertion skills on a partial task training improve cannulation and insertion success rate in clinical practice? So I narrow, I get it more specific. And at the end, I will evaluate my research question? Is it clear? Yes, it's clear. I know what I will do. Focused? Yes, it is focused and specific. Complex? It's complex. It is not a yes or no question. Interest? Yes, it is interest. Researchable? Measurable? Yes, I can do a research and measure it. The cannulation and insertion success rate. Too broad or too narrow? No, it's a good research question. We'll go to the types of research question. As you see, when I formulate a research question, I write the effect of something on something else. The something is the indirect, independent variable, and the something else is the dependent variable. The dependent variable is the outcome that I'll measure. So when I formulate research question from the following topic, assessment of long-term knowledge retention following single-day simulation training for critical obstetrical event, where is the dependent and independent variable? Yes, this is the dependent variable, long-term knowledge retention, and the simulation training is the independent variable. So when I formulate my research question, does repeated exposure of obstetric resident to simulation training significantly improve long-term knowledge retention in management of critical obstetrical events? These are the types of research questions: comparative, causal, and explorative. The comparative, I compare between two groups, flipped and lecture-based classroom, on the enhancing student engagement. So I have one variable only, is the dependent variable. The causal, I search for the effect of the independent variable on the dependent variable. As you see, the effect of sleep deprivation on the resident professional life. The explorative research question, there is no variable at all. This is an activity. You will choose which type of question is. There are 4 questions. You will write which type of question for each one. The first one is a comparative research question. Yes, it's causal, explorative research question, and comparative research question. Our last activity today is in group task. We will formulate a good research question to a research topic you are interested in. Then you will evaluate it at the end. Remember that a good research question takes time to create, but time invested in this process is always worthwhile. Research question lays the foundation for the research study and inform each step of the study design, as what data is collected, data collection methods, data analysis methods, and keep the research question foremost in your mind throughout the research process. Thank you.